All right, guys, give yourselves a round warm of applause because we finally did it. We have made it past the offseason, and we are here now in 2025, 2026 NFL season. We are 1 week away from the time I'm recording this video, which is Monday, September 1st. This might go out the next day. I might release it tonight. Not too sure. But we are going to give our season predictions for the Chicago Bears. I will be doing, or at least I'll try to do, a division sort of prediction. And then, of course, I'm going to keep doing my pregame predictions for each game. We're going to do that later through the week so we can get a better idea of who's starting at running back and left tackle for the Bears and everything. So we'll do that probably Wednesday, Thursday, coming around the corner for Bears football Monday night. And we're going to do a season prediction starting off with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we are playing at home on primetime, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not too happy about. I don't like playing on primetime because I just feel like every time we do, the Bears get embarrassed, and I'm just not ready for that type of attention just yet. Now, I do have a ton of faith in Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, but I don't know, man. I want to see, our success actually happen before we start getting media notoriety. So, on to week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, on paper, we are kind of even with them in terms of roster, coaching, and everything. But even with Ben Johnson, yes, I am a big believer in Ben Johnson. We simply do not know just yet how good or bad Ben Johnson is, because we know he was an awesome coordinator, but as we've seen many, many times throughout the NFL, a lot of good coordinators have become head coaches and have failed. And we have one in Dennis Allen, who is our defensive coordinator. Amazing coordinator, terrible head coach. So for week 1, Jordan Addison on the other team for the Vikings is suspended, I believe, the first 4 games, I want to say, for the season. They still have Justin Jefferson, which, by the way, Justin Jefferson is a little banged up with his, I believe, hamstring injury. But let's be honest, as long as Justin Jefferson is on the field, he is at all times, no matter how healthy or unhealthy, he is at all times a top 10 receiver in this league. So we're going to assume for this game, he is in. They've got an amazing defense with Brian Flores, with that defensive coordinator. They got Van Ginkel and Grenard on the D-line. And they also added Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. I know they traded away Harrison Phillips, which I'm kind of surprised they did that. They beefed up their interior offensive line. And they got J.J. McCarthy starting at number 1, at QB1 finally, after being injured last year. I'm going to be honest, guys. This is a pick I'm not too confident in, and this could very well be wrong. And I really hope I'm wrong about this. But I think we do start off 0-1. It's not the popular pick here. I know I'm kind of going off of vibes, which I know is a little unfair. And I could very well be wrong here. And trust me, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we dominate them 35-10. That'd be amazing. But with how the Bears are, with all our new pieces, with a new coach and everything, Kevin O'Connell, with how good of a coach he is, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up losing this game like 17-10 or 17-14 or 20-17, something like that. But I think we do start off 0-1. And then we go to the Motor City of Detroit. Ben Johnson revenge game. And a lot of these games, by the way, this year have a lot of storylines. So I'll explain each one. But obviously the Ben Johnson, more of like Detroit's revenge game versus Ben Johnson for picking a division rival. Excuse me, geez, I almost choked on my own saliva. But let's be honest, guys. The Lions roster is just way superior than ours. We're playing away. And like I said, I would imagine these first 4 games with all these new pieces, it's going to take a while for our team to fully develop and gel together and have that chemistry, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. So because of that, I am going to have the Bears starting off 0-2, unfortunately. But it is Detroit. These are respectable losses because of the coaching and the rosters. Then we go on to week 3. And obviously, this is where the blessing and the curse comes in of the Micah Parsons trade, because obviously they don't have Micah Parsons anymore, but he went to the Packers, which we will get into once we hit week 14. This should be an easy win. I mean, I know I respect their offense. I respect Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, which I picked CeeDee Lamb in fantasy. So I hope he does decent, but not decent enough to beat us. But their defense is absolutely horrid. I would even wager to say that they're the worst in the league at this current moment without, without Micah Parsons. So I think that's got to be a win there. We got to take advantage. Do not go 0-3. Then we got the Raiders, who I do respect them as a team. I do like Pete Carroll, don't get me wrong. I like Geno Smith. I don't know if Geno Smith is going to do good outside of Seattle, but he does get back with Pete Carroll, so he does know how to run him, make him, be successful. Ashton Jeanty, obviously, all Bears fans wanted him, so this is kind of like that storyline of Ashton Jeanty having to go against him. For the last game, too, we're going against Eberflus. I didn't even mention that. We're going against Eberflus and Jack Sanborn. But for this week, Ashton Jeanty versus the Bears. I think we've got a good enough run defense now. At least we better. We got Grady Jarrett and Andrew Billings healthy again. This has got to be a win for us. We start off 2-2. Going into a super early bye week, and I absolutely hate that. Jeez, I hate the fact we have such an early bye week, but no excuses. This is the NFL. You got to work with what you're given. Let's go on. Week 6 versus the Commanders. I cannot live with the Bears losing this game. We could very easily lose this. We could. Jaden Daniels is a very good quarterback, and I expect him to do much better in year 2, despite what people want to say about him being a system quarterback or whatever. Guess what? He's still in that same system. He did amazing as a rookie. Yes, he could have a CJ Stroud type sophomore slump. I don't really see it happening. He has a great arm, great legs. I think for the Bears, it's going to be a super tough task. But given the fact that we were literally a Hail Mary away from beating them last year, and with Matt Eberflus, mind you, and that offensive line, I truly believe this time around, we finished the job. Ben Johnson does not play around. He will not make the same mistakes as Matt Eberflus. Cross my fingers on that one. Week 7, do we even need to say anything? Worst team in football. Hopefully, I really hope that Spencer Rattler starts this game, because there are some accounts out there, and those of you watching my videos, if you know, you know, there's a certain guy that's propping up Spencer Rattler as the best quarterback in last year's draft and saying Caleb is 100% bust. We know who that is. I hope he starts that game so that we can absolutely dominate him. That would be amazing. Week 8, pretty much the same thing except the exact opposite, which I know is like an oxymoron there, but not much explanation needed. The Ravens are just too good, man. Lamar Jackson coming off of what should have been an MVP season. Derrick Henry, 1,900 yards. That team just got better. They added Mike Green. They added Jair. They added Malachi Starks. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this team's a Super Bowl contender, as they are every year. Let's see if they actually do it. The Bengals. Now, the Bengals are interesting. We are playing in Cincinnati. They do have a terrible defense, but they just re-signed Trey Hendrickson. They got Shamar Stewart, and now that doesn't really do much because Shamar wasn't really good in college in terms of production, but their defense is still terrible, but that offense is still really good, man. I think that offense, the difference between the Cowboys and the Bengals is that Jamar and Joe Burrow are just way too good. I'm sorry. They're just way too good to be a team that has to just rely on their defense. They won 9 games last year, being just the bottom of the barrel. They might get a little bit better. I don't think so, but either way, I still think we lose here. Could we win? We beat them before, yes, when the year they went to the Super Bowl, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I am taking for now the Bengals to beat us. Then we are going on to Week 10 versus the Giants, and look, their defensive line, in my opinion, is the best in football. You've got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Brian Burns, you got Dexter Lawrence, and then just when you think they're done with that, they add Abdul Carter, who looks to be literally the second coming of Micah Parsons. So it sucks we have to essentially face Micah Parsons and his clone 3 times a year. So that sucks, but the rest of their team outside of that is complete dog water. And Malik Neighbors, that's about it. Literally, that's it. They got Cam Scatterbo, they got Tracy, but I don't think that's going to be enough to tip it in our favor. By then, Week 10, we're a much more solidified team. I think Ben Johnson's going to do really good this season. Give us the Bears victory. We are 5-4. Week 11. This is the game where I think we bounce back. Now that we know what J.J. McCarthy's about, now that our team is a little bit more, connected, and yes, they'll have Jordan Addison back, but I think the Bears at this point will start to catch heat a little bit, and they'll start to sort of get respect around the league with this win here. I think we do take down J.J. McCarthy. I don't think we get swept by them. I really hope we don't. Then we've got Week 12 versus Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Aaron freaking Rodgers, man. If we lose, the only way I'd be okay with us losing is if for some reason Caleb's not playing. But if Caleb Williams is playing and we lose this game versus Aaron Rodgers, I might actually jump off a cliff. So for that reason alone, I can't. I'm sorry. I cannot give Aaron Rodgers a victory here. Can it happen? Yes. I cannot live with this happening. Ben Johnson and Caleb cannot allow Aaron Rodgers in his final season, at least very likely his final season, to stroll right into Soldier Field, by the way, at home, and beat us one last time before he rides into the sunset. I need Montez Sweat and Andrew Billings and Deo and Austin Booker. I need all these guys to send his ass to retirement this game. So I cannot pick a win here for the Steelers. Moving on to Week 13, similar story as the Ravens. We're not beating this team. I mean, yeah, obviously any given Sunday, sure, it could happen, but let's be honest. The Eagles are just on another level. Arguably got better too. Just, I don't know. I doubt that this is going to be a close game. I hope it is. I would at least hope that this game is within one score or even like a 10-point game. That would be kind of cool. You know, if we lose to them like 20-28, like that's not terrible. You know, but this team's on another level. Super Bowl contending championship. Jalen Hurts is still a good quarterback. And Saquon's elite. So the only way I see us having a chance is if somehow Saquon's hurt by this game. But moving on to our beloved, and when I say beloved, I mean our absolutely most hated rivals of all time, the Green Bay Packers. I believe Week 14 is faced at Green Bay. And as we know, Caleb Williams is undefeated at Green Bay. Unfortunately, though, because of Micah Parsons, because of Jerry Jones, because of him being the man he is, we are unfortunately going to have to lose one of these games, at least, to Green Bay. And that's going to suck. But there is a chance we do win. I hope we do. But that D-line is just amazing. And I know they don't have much talent outside of that, but if you look at their metrics from last year, they actually did a lot more with a lot little. And they got Matthew Golden, who looks to be a solid receiver, and they add Micah Parsons, who is just obviously amazing. I still think Matt LaFleur is a really good coach, and their defensive coordinator has also done a really good job with maybe less than appreciated talent. So I do think the Packers do take us down. I think there's going to be close games for both of them. Browns, this better be a win. Same thing as the Saints. Who knows if Joe Flacco's still starting, if that's Shador at that point, or Dylan Gabriel. Or there's another guy that I forgot they traded for, but we should win this game. I don't care. They have Myles Garrett. They have Mason Graham. I get it. They have nothing outside of that. Give me this victory. Green Bay Packers. It pains me. It pains me that we have to see Micah Parsons twice in 3 weeks. And it also pains me to say that, and I could be, once again, there's another pick right here, just like week 1. I could be wrong, and I hope to God I'm wrong. I'm so hoping that I look back and I think of myself as an idiot. And that we win both games here. I just can't. The Packers they look too good right now. They're riding high. And with how good you're going to get a fully healthy Jordan Love, you're going to get a much more, pretty much a non-rookie in Matthew Golden, at least not week 1 Matthew Golden. Micah Parsons should be a dominant force. I think both of these games will be really close. It could honestly come down to a field goal. I'm not too sure about the Packers. They're just too good to beat us. They're just too good for us to just beat them as of right now. Honestly, it really is the trenches that make the difference because our pressure rate right now is probably going to be terrible. Montez Sweat's the only one that's going to generate pressure, really. I hope Trevon Dexter steps up, but Deo I am not a fan of. And I think that's kind of the difference here, the difference maker. I hope our secondary can step up at this point. We'll see what injuries happen or who's starting that week. But if we're talking about 2 fully healthy rosters, I do see us getting swept by the Packers this season. Now going on to San Francisco. Also another wild card team because we don't know if Christian McCaffrey is going to be healthy this year. I'm going to assume that whatever healthy roster they have right now is what we're going to face. Obviously, it's super hard to predict any sort of injury, so I'm not going to sit here and say, well, just because McCaffrey's injury prone, he's not going to play here. Let's assume he plays. Let's assume Brandon Ayuk is back, and they got George Kittle and everything. Purdy destroyed our defense last year, and honestly, our defense did not change too much, especially with how bad our pressure rate was. I'm sorry, I got to give it to the 49ers this time around. Now, I do see us beating them because I'm not too big a fan of their their team in general, at least their roster. But they got Michael Williams in the first round. They still have Nick Bosa, who's a top pass rusher in this league. I think their team right now, once again, this is more of a trenches thing. Brock Purdy's still a really solid quarterback. They got George Kittle. they beat us, destroyed us last year. And I get last year we were super dysfunctional, which shouldn't be the case this year. But I don't know. I don't think so. And then we got week 18. This is sort of like, this could be the deciding factor for the division. Well, not for the division, for the wild card spot. Honestly, I think it's going to take 10 wins to make a wild card spot in this conference. So we might not be in the playoff race here. And you also have to take into consideration tiebreakers. I went back and forth on week 17 and week 18. But I think the Bears do sneak out a victory here. We always play the Lions tough no matter how good their roster is. We do play, other teams in our division tough too. But I think with the Lions, no matter how bad we are, no matter how dysfunctional we are, we always find one of these games to be a really close game. We always get super close to beating them. And I think Ben Johnson this time around, he's not going to allow himself to get swept by his former team. I think we do finish off the season at 9-8. Now, this can very well be wrong in terms of the record, and I hope it's wrong in a good way. Because honestly, if you change week 1, you're back at, if I can just do this right, 10-7. And then you pretty much secure the wild card spot. You sweep the Vikings. Maybe you even win one here against the Packers, and now you're 11-6. So who knows, really? Now, of course, there's few games here where we win, we beat a team that maybe we shouldn't have beat because they're that good, or we lose a game like to the Saints or Giants, that team that we should have, beaten. I hope it better not be the Steelers. But if I'm going to be realistic, and I got to say our middle ground here, I do think, and what was the other one I changed? Oh, this one. I do think we are going to finish with a 9-8 record, and I don't think that's too bad of a season considering with how our defensive line is, with our situation at left tackle, and honestly, our lack of running back and running back depth right now. I'm not a big fan of DeAndre Swift. 9-8 for Ben Johnson's first season, first winning record since 2018, 2019. Honestly, good start to Ben Johnson's campaign. I hope it's a lot better than this. I hope we don't get swept by the Packers, and I hope we don't lose week 1 to the Vikings, because I got to hear those stupid-ass storylines about Caleb wanting to go to Minnesota and Ben Johnson losing to the Lions and the Packers still owning us. So I hope that doesn't happen. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think we're going to get more wins or less wins? Do you believe in Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? Let me know in the comments down below. Bear down, I'm out.